Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight. I'm your host tonight, Bill Hannon. With Josie Way, we're going to have the pleasure of spending time with Roland Comtois concerning different issues. And the best way to probably approach this is to ask what he has lined up coming up in the next few months, next year. And we're just going to branch off from that. So, Roland.
Hi there. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for inviting me back again.
You're very accommodating.
I appreciate being here.
Yes.
I appreciate being here. You know, it's going to be an exciting year. I think more than 2018 being good for me, I think it's going to be good for a lot of people. I think the energy of 2018 is transformative. I think that we've gone through some transitional phase.
Yeah,
that many
absolutely.
people have gone through some very high experiences and
Yes.
dropped right down.
Yes.
And have felt lost and unsettled. And
Yeah.
I'm certainly part of that experience. And, you know, I'm happy to say that 2018 is about that transformation on a very deep and personal
Right.
level.
So what brings you to this? Is this something that you're able to sense coming, or is it maybe associated with numerology?
Well, that's
or-
a good point. A good question. I think several factors. One, life in 2017 has taught me a great lesson, a personal lesson
Yes.
about myself, about life, about who I am, what I am, why I am. And I think that is teaching me that this new year is going to be a year of great revelation and discovery and really stepping out of the shadow and into the forefront of something.
Sure.
And I think that's a general theme for a lot of people. From a numerology, yeah, hello.
Right.
Yeah, help me with that word. Yeah, thank you very much.
Numerology.
Thank you with numerology. 2018 is significant. You know,
Yes.
there's a significant energy to the year itself, to the numbers themselves, and I think it leads the way.
A master number.
Yeah, master number leads us to really discovering the master and the truth within ourselves.
That leaves some hope.
It does leave hope. Look, 2017 was rough. And I imagine everybody who's hearing my voice might have had some intense experiences this year. But I don't look at them as negative experiences. I look at them as growth, as nuggets of tools, teaching tools,
Right.
to guide me towards where I'm going in my life. And one of those places is, you know, my life expands in 2018, as does everyone
Right.
else.
Gotcha.
But you're going to be on board. You're going to be, you know, in a process of
Engaging.
manifestation. You're going to engage the experience. You're going to be invested in your life. You've got to be conscious of your life. You can't be laying on the couch watching it go by day after day. That's not how evolution occurs.
And yet that's such a large, important part of many people's lives. And you know, they're not experiencing, or, you know, even relationships within the same household.
Yeah, you're right. But look, I'm not fighting laying on the couch, because it's a good thing to do when
You
you
have
need
to.
to do it. You have to recuperate your body. You have to
That's
restore the physical aspect of who you are. But I can tell you that this is a year, 2018, from my insight, from my spiritual connections, from my life, from numerology, all tell me that this is the year that we take a hold of it. We've all planted seeds in the last few years. Those seeds are going to flourish in
Okay.
2018 for a lot of people. And I think it's going to be a very exciting year. I really have that feeling inside of me.
Well, I can see it in you.
I'm excited by it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
great.
excited by it. But it takes a lot of work, though, to have the exciting year.
Right.
Because you have to live through the peaks and valleys, the highs and lows of whatever life is offering you.
Right.
And here we are, you know, getting ready for something new and something exciting.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. It's something to hang your hat on, considering, like you said, a lot of different experiences
Yeah.
people have had this past couple of years.
Yeah, you know, I'm all about doing the work. You've got to do the work to go forward. You've got to do the work to take the next step
Yes.
towards your destination. You know, and doing the work means meditation, prayer, sitting quietly, laying on the couch,
Right.
engaging in experiences,
Sure.
developing relationships, putting down your cell phone, talking to each other.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
we've got to do this year.
Hanging up the computer for a while.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not an expert at putting my phone down or putting my computer down yet. I'm still practicing that.
Well, trust me, there are some people that do it 12 to 16 hours a day.
Sure. Absolutely.
So that's, a far cry from not always being able to get away from it.
Right.
The analogy that I'm feeling for this particular time is that we're all in the cocoon now, and this magnificent creature will soon leave that space.
Right.
And I think we're in that place right now.
I mean, there are other people that you can read and hear about expounding on basically the same
Yeah.
level that you're talking about,
Yes.
is that there seems to be a quickening,
Yeah.
stepping up of the vibration. And I just think it's great to hear you confirm basically what other people are suggesting might be coming forward.
I think something interesting also happened in 2017. This quickening that you referred to happened to a lot of people.
Right.
They had this feeling inside that something jolted them and caused a reaction, an awareness, a heightened awareness, if you will. And I think that energy we're going to see the result of that in 2018.
Fruition.
We're going to see it come together, and
Yeah.
people are going to feel uplifted, and feel more connected to each other and more connected to the universe, to the spiritual experience.
So we're going to have a stronger web.
Yes.
Not internet web, but a web between the actual connections between people, establishing better communication between people,
Yes.
feelings.
Yes. It's this invisible energy that exists
correct.
between us right now.
Right.
That energy will become more palpable in 2018
Right.
because of the seeds that were planted, because of life itself.
Intent.
Because of intention. There are three principles we're going to live by: intention, integrity, and impeccability. We live by those principles. They guide us on our journey, and we're going to see the result of that in 2018.
Right.
Yeah, my info is that Spirit has been sending more energy and raising us.
Yeah.
Anyone who will accept the invitation, raising us. And when you're in the company of someone who's raised, it starts to affect everyone around you. It lifts everyone around you.
There is no doubt a heightened awareness. There is no doubt about that at all. I see it at my events. I see it when I'm on Facebook Live.
Right.
I see it. People are hungry and thirsty for some knowledge,
Yes.
for this interconnectedness you just mentioned. People want to foster that and grow that and nurture that, and a lot of that is happening right now.
Right.
And it's getting us ready for what the next year is what the year is going to offer us.
Right.
I was going to say the worst thing that could happen in 2018
Yeah.
is that your eyes are not opened, that your
Okay.
hearing is not extended, that your
Sure.
heart is not present,
Right.
Because these are the things that are going to help you see
Navigate.
and navigate the experience
Right.
before you.
Right.
And I think it's important. It's important. It's critically important.
Right.
Can I give you a little example
Please.
of this? So, that I go to, you may not know this, but I go to Italy every year. And it has become a very powerful experience. It's not just taking a trip to Italy, it's going on a spiritual mission. So we were at one of the cathedrals, the St. Francis Cathedral in Assisi, Italy.
Right.
Extraordinary. We're there on St. Francis's feast day. I walk out of the church, and all of a sudden I take my glasses off, I fold them up like this, I hand them to my team, and I start walking the streets of Assisi. Now, at that point, I have no glasses on, my vision is 2200, but I'm following the energy. Now, there is a comparison to following the energy in Assisi to the story we're talking about now. The more that we follow the energy,
Yes.
the greater, the more extraordinary, the more amazing the experience is. So I'm walking the streets of Assisi and I'm bowing to people. People are bowing to me. I can't see where I'm going. I have 2200 vision. Now I can't see anything. There's thousands of people walking the streets of Assisi. All of a sudden we get to a top of a hill, and in my head I hear, "Turn right now." So I take a right. A group of people follow me down this little cobblestone walkway.
Yeah.
Again, I'm talking about the comparison to listening to that vibe inside, letting it be a guide for you in the new year. I'm talking about listening to that inner voice.
Right.
That inner voice told me to go down this pathway into this building. I walked right into the building, sat down in a chair, came out of this trance I was in, or whatever
Yeah.
it was that was going on, and I was in the house that St. Francis lived when he was a boy.
No way.
Yes, I was in the house where St. Francis lived when he was a child, where his father, the wealthy merchant of
Right.
fabric, of
Sure.
cloth,
Right.
lived and worked. And I was sitting in the chair in front of the room where his father locked him in when he professed his faith to God.
Right.
What got me to that room
Was the
was
energy.
listening to the energy.
Right.
What will get you through 2018 is listening to the energy.
Right.
Now, you don't always hear it,
No.
but you see it, you feel it, you know it, you understand it. And when you follow through with it, the end result can only be positive because you're listening to the voice of God, you're listening to the voice of Spirit, you're making a deep and powerful connection.
Wow. And you have to ask.
And St. Francis
Yes.
was particularly quiet, so he gave you his energy. He didn't speak to you.
No, it was energy. I followed it. People were bowing, I was bowing. And then I heard, when I was sitting in that chair, get up and go out, up the hill, take a right. I walked up, took a right, walked all the way down another mile, stopped at another church, went into the basement of the church, because you're allowed to do that in these churches. And there I was at St. Clare's crypt. St. Clare and St. Francis were not related, but they were like siblings, right? So again, the point of the story is that when that voice comes, when that something happens,
Right.
listening to it will take you on an amazing journey.
My God.
You know, but you got to listen to it.
Trust
you got to trust it. Trust is tough.
Yeah.
But you got to trust it, and you got to let it guide you forward because it will take you somewhere very amazing. And that was one of the most profound experiences of my 45 years of being in this place of hearing the voice of God or Spirit
Right.
or love or energy.
Sure.
It was one of the most profound, Bill. And I've had a lot of profound experiences, but that voice on a road with hundreds and thousands of people, there I am walking without my glasses, moving along.
It's imprinted in your DNA.
Yeah, exactly so.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Right.
So if that's imprinted in my DNA, what else is imprinted in there?
Right.
What else is
Yeah.
part of the experience,
Yeah.
you know? And what do we have to do to get to that place so that it can move us forward? Look, this is the real spirituality at its best. It's when we listen to that inner voice and it becomes us. We become the path we walk on. We become the air. We become the connections, the interconnections. We become all of it in that moment, and it's pretty profound. It was profound.
There are some people that would say, I'm bringing up something controversial,
Love it.
that would say, why you would let this voice guide you?
Yeah.
You know, how can you trust it?
So-
that it's not going to guide you somewhere dangerous.
Well, so here's how. My mantra is that I only accept the things that are loving and supportive that will guide my soul forward. All of it that's based in love. If it's based in love, it's not going to do harm to me, right? There are plenty of people who are going to think, oh, God, you made it up, or, you know, it wasn't real, or whatever they're going to say. But for me, not only is the voice present, but more important is the knowing was present. The knowing was far greater than the voice. This thing inside of me that just felt right. It felt right. You know that feeling. You know that feeling. You've had that feeling when you've got the job that you really loved. You had that knowing inside of you. You had that feeling when you said I do to your husband or wife, and you know it was the right place for you.
Right.
You had that feeling when your boss a guy calls and you know what, you got the job. You're the right guy for the job. That same knowing existed in that moment, and that knowing is what dictated my walking
Your
through the
actions.
streets of Assisi.
Sure.
My actions, yes.
Yeah, because some people just don't comprehend that you can know these things.
Yeah. You know, I think that people are becoming more attuned to the knowing, to that feeling, but it is a process, and we're in the process in 2017 and 16, all the way back to 12 actually. We're all years of planting the seeds and really nourishing the soul and nourishing the self,
Sure.
and now we're evolving out of that experience into something greater.
Sure, sure. I mean, I remember people talking back in like 87 and different eras where we basically are taking steps up in the strength of the vibration, the finer energy of it.
Yes.
And yet, it's, you know, where's it going to take us? You
Yeah,
know, it's just-
1993 was one of those years. It was
Yeah.
one of those years where the energy was heightened and people stepped up a little bit.
something
you know?
like convergence or something.
Yeah, there was some
right,
energetic
right.
convergence, and now we're at another point where that energy is evolving. There are more people interested in knowing that there is a God, a spirit, a light, an energy, a love. There are more
Yet,
people
have you
interested.
noticed the step up also in the resistance? There's more of a pushback where people are actually trying to deny and push away from this possible reality, and it kind of scares them because they want to feel like they're in control.
You know, that's for you know. I'm not saying I'm not agreeing that I'm seeing as much of that,
Yeah.
but the when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, it is fear that's controlling that. They don't want to be disappointed. You know, a friend of mine, Dave Kane, says that if at the end of life you came to the very end, and he, meaning me, was right about the afterlife, well, then you're going to thank me. If
Yeah.
I'm wrong, it won't matter because it won't matter.
It won't matter because
nothing will matter.
Right.
Nothing will exist.
Right.
But if some people like us were right, then you're going to thank us for having the experience. So there's nothing wrong in having the experience.
Sure.
Because at the end, if the spiritualists are right, then thank God for that. If they're wrong, well, oh well, it won't matter.
Right.
Because everything is over anyway.
That's right, that's
you
right.
know? Everything is over. I remember when my mother, I remember this instant with my mother. She was looking for her keys in the apartment, and I walk in and I say, "Mom, what are you doing?" She said, "I'm looking for my keys. I can't find them. I'm asking St. Anthony," she said, "to help me find my keys." I said, "Why don't you ask Meme to help you find your keys? She's up there in heaven too." She says, "Oh, I can't ask Meme. She's dead." I said, "Mom," well, so is St. Anthony, but you're still trying to make a connection.
Right.
The connection isn't each little house. It's this bigger vibration of energy that we're connecting to.
Right.
So when you're talking to St. Anthony, you might be talking to my grandmother.
Yeah.
If you're talking to my grandmother, you might be talking to my dog. If you're talking to my dog, you might be talking to God. You know,
Yeah.
It's all interconnected, just like the interconnections that exist here.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking about connections and good things coming,
Yes.
what are some of the good things coming where we can see you for
Well,
this
I'm
next
going to be.
year?
Thank you. Thank you for asking, and I appreciate that very much. I am traveling through the country a lot in 2018 and booking into 19. So there's a lot of travel plans in store. I'm going to the West Coast. I'm going to the Florida and the southern coast and making my way around. I'm going to be in Bermuda. I'm going to be in Italy. I'm going to be on a cruise. There's a lot of exciting things happening, and I'll be in Rhode Island and New England, and so a lot of
Right.
places doing a lot of exciting things.
Are you doing your show again?
My show is relaunching soon.
Fantastic.
Having the Experience is relaunching with dates in Maryland, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Island, and so we'll be back on the road with that. And
I really enjoyed it.
thank you. I appreciate that. And we have a new song, and we have new energy for it, and so I think people will enjoy having that experience. So there's a lot of new and exciting things coming down the pike. And I mentioned to you that I also just signed a major contract with Llewellyn Worldwide for the publication of my book called The Purple Papers. And it's about my purple papers that I carry with me. So there's a lot of exciting things in the works, and people can go to my website and stuff and find me. The truth of the matter is there's only one mission at hand, and that is to bring a little bit of peace and a little bit of ease to the broken hearts that come before me. Because I believe with absolute certainty that mediumship is all about an avenue of healing or towards healing, that there's some value in what a medium does for a person or a group of people. And I think it's significant. It's more significant than anybody's giving them credit for.
Oh, I think it's...
for what they do and how they do what they do.
Yeah. I have seen other mediums really heal people.
Yes.
From the fears that their loved one felt a lot of pain, the fears that the regrets of not being able to say goodbye. Those that come through and say they're sorry that they didn't spend as much time.
Oh my God!
That is, you can't measure the worth of it. It's priceless.
I did an event in Maryland, and I would say the guy was 80 or something years old, and his mother came through with an apology and a very long-winded story. That guy cried. He cried for the little boy inside of him that was torn up by the mother that he had. That 80-year-old guy left out of him the pain and the grief that he carried, not about his mother's passing, but about the kind of life he had. And those are the kinds of moments that are very powerful and very profound.
Because you let it go.
He let it go. He heard something in the words that someone like me said. He heard the words I said, and something triggered a moment for him. He began to release these tears that he had been holding in since his childhood, let it go in front of a whole audience. It was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. And
a real healing. It
was a real healing experience. And the truth is, the real healer is him, right? It's him. My mission is to support the healing process. So it was him opened to the experience of really letting that healing take place.
Right. So he was able to shift his understanding.
Yes, he was. That's a great way of saying it. He shifted his understanding. Perfectly stated, Bill. He took it out of fear and regret and despair and was able to navigate it to a place of peace by what he heard or what he experienced in some way. It's a pretty powerful experience if you really truly allow the medium to do his or her job, right? It's a powerful, life-changing experience.
I mean, I have received more healing through mediumship from others or through contact with spirits than hours and hours of psychotherapy.
I know. I've heard this a lot.
Right.
That they go for a little therapy and they feel they don't feel as good as they do when they get a message that says love is everlasting.
That's right. That's right. Now that's the really a great way just to kind of sum up what we're doing today, and thank our audience at the Psychic Holistic Spotlight to have spent time with us and to get some possible insight to maybe help you understand how things may be going on in your life, and just forgive yourself and let things go. And so, Roland.
It's a great plan. I support that plan.
All right. And so we got a couple minutes left, and I think it's great the way
we can throw in as letting go, as well as don't forget you're not alone. There's lots of loving people
That's
around
right.
you,
That's right.
Yeah.
in spirit and here.
Yeah.
Right. And again, like you say, trust the light, trust the vibration.
Trust the knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
And respond to it by just accepting and expressing gratitude.
Yeah.
Because that feeling will only get stronger every time you thank that
Perfectly
feeling. Yeah.
stated. That each time you have the experience, it just expands it even better and even stronger than it was a
Stronger
moment
foundation.
before. Yep, absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
What I was taught is that every time you listen to the divine, whether it's God or the angels or ascended masters, every time you listen, it opens the door a little bit more.
Okay.
And the next time, and the next time, and the
Right.
next time.
All right. Well, we're looking forward again to seeing you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
I appreciate being here with you guys, and thanks.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay,
for
Roland.
coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have them for next year.
Whoopee.
So you can send us letters if you have any questions you want him to work on.
That's very good. Well,